How's it going, Eliminators? Today, I'm going to be showing you how to easily fix an uneven mower deck on some of the older Craftsman and also some Husqvarna riding lawnmowers due to what I would call just a design flaw. And today I'll be showing you how to fix that up without spending a whole bunch of time or a whole bunch of money. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So today I'm working on a Craftsman YT4000 riding lawnmower. These are very similar to a lot of the Husqvarna branded mowers. They have the similar decks and the way they design the decks and the deck hangers. And there was an issue where my customer's belt slipped off, but the main complaint was that the deck does not cut level. The right side over here is always lower and thus is cutting more grass and is put under more load. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a quick little trick to solve this issue. If you have a welder, you can probably do it a couple of other ways. You can figure that one out. But first, I'll show you what I think is a design flaw, and then I'll show you how to fix it. So coming to the left side of the mower, on this particular mower, there is a deck hanger right there, and then there is a deck hanger back here. Now on the left side of the machine, you're going to notice that the deck hanger there has a threaded rod on the end of it, which allows you to adjust the height of your mower deck. So you could imagine if you tighten that up, it will raise the left side of the deck, and if you loosen that off, it will lower it. So let's go have a look at the other side. So coming over to the right side of the machine, you can see that there is a front deck hanger right there, and there is a hanger here, although this one looks a little different. There is no way to adjust this. You guys can see that is just a rod all the way down. There are no threads, no adjustment. So once again, over time, things bend and customers hit things. This gets out of alignment. So today's video, I'm basically going to show you how to raise this and get it to the point where it's almost perfectly level. You will still have to probably fine tune it with the left side, but this is the way that I do it. It's super simple. So first things first, you're going to notice I have the clip out of the bottom hanger. That's just because I've already begun this repair and I decided to film it. So the first thing you're going to do before you take anything off is lower the deck all the way down to the ground completely. Next up, what you want to do is come over to the deck height adjustment lever, and you are going to adjust the deck up until the left side of the deck with the adjustment starts to move up. So hopefully I can get this in a shot. So you see right about there. So we're going to go into that notch right there, which looks to be 10,987. So again, deck just starts to move. So we're going into the closest notch right there. Coming back to the right side of the mower here, we're going to go into this area under the fender. And what we're doing is we're trying to get a measurement here of the rod, which you guys can see I've already loosened the nut off. So basically, if you can, try to take a measurement, but I've already kind of measured this up using just a nut. So I'm at the back of the mower near the tire here. You guys can see that is what, about maybe an inch, maybe a little bit more. So now what happens, as you can imagine, is as you raise the deck lever, the left side of the deck starts to raise, but all of that slack in that rod has to be taken out before the right side even starts to lift. So what we're going to be doing is putting something there to take up that slack. So next step, I have a blue acrylic paint marker, and basically what I did was I just marked the front of the rod and the front of that little hanger there. But basically there's a bend in this rod. It comes out, so you want to kind of know what side bends out from the frame, and you're just marking the outside there. And then you can get yourself a 9/16 socket and go ahead and remove the nut on that right there. So I've removed the nut, but I just wanted to show you guys to measure the distance here. I've just taken a nut and I've put it in behind the rod to the point in between this guy right there and the top of that, and that fits perfect. So now you can go ahead and disconnect your pin at the bottom, and we can pull that rod out. Now the reason I mark it with a paint marker is just to line myself up, because like I said, that has a bend that comes outwards. So at least I know what the outside of the bar is. And like I said, that nut fit perfectly in behind that little area. So you can already imagine what I'm gonna do. I'm going to be putting that nut in behind that bar, and I'm gonna weld the nut to that bar. So with that nut welded to the back side of that, then like I said, when my customer goes to lift the deck up, both sides of the deck will lift at the same time, and the deck will be, for the most part, as level as it can be. And like I said, if you're off by maybe 1/4 of an inch, or you don't have a nut that's the perfect size, at least you're taking some of the slack out of the right side of the deck, and you can adjust that out using the left side. So now what I've done is simply taken a yellow paint marker and marked the area that I want to weld, because again, we want that nut to be hidden in the back. We don't want it on the front side where that piece fits into that bracket, because then there can be some interference. So what I can do now is just clean that up a little bit, get the welder out, hook my ground up, and weld that in. Okay, so I just got it clamped in. I'll do a little tack on the bottom side there. Then I can remove my locking pliers and get the center welded up. All right, so I got that welded up now. Good enough. I'll hit it with some black spray paint. We'll get it reinstalled. So I got a little bit of black paint on there. Like I said, that goes to the back side of that. So I'll get this thing reinstalled. Okay, so we can get that tightened back up. Then we can put our washer and pin back in the bottom clip. So I'll try to get this from an overhead perspective. Like I said, we were in the probably about the 7th position. If we go down into number 6 there, then both sides of the deck are now on the ground. And then try to get a shot of both sides here. We go into that 7th position, and both sides of the deck are just starting to lift up. We go a little bit higher. Hopefully you guys can see that. Both sides of the deck now lifting at the same time. And then for any fine tuning that you want to do, like I said, you can always go back to the left side and adjust that nut for higher or lower on the left side. Now, I did briefly want to include this before wrapping up today's video. The reason why I think this happens in the first place is due to Craftsman and Husqvarna's design of the main deck hanger bar. So you can see the bar goes across from the left to the right, and circled in red is the right bracket that lifts that rod on the right with no adjustment. Now what I believe happens is that bracket somehow bends downwards to a certain point, and then pretty much it just stops. And to fix that, you would essentially have to remove that whole bar and bracket assembly to replace that. Obviously very time consuming, and I would assume it's going to be very expensive as well once you start getting into all of those replacement parts. So the way that I do it, like I showed you, it's quick and simple enough. Circled in green here, we're just making an adjustment to that bar. So I welded a nut to it, but I've seen some other people drill a hole through the rod and put a spring clip. There's all kinds of ways that you can fix it. This is just the way that I do it. In the end, all we're doing is making an adjustment to the position where that hanger lifts that rod. Well, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, think about leaving me a thumbs up. You know, it really helps me out. You can click here to subscribe and click over here to watch one of my previous videos. I upload every single week, so be sure to stop on by next week. Check channel out for new content. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.